Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to beat Fallout New Vegas only using your bare fists. First off, choose a name that will strike fear into the hearts of your enemies. Next, you should set your special stats to match these numbers. The in-game descriptions of the attributes are inaccurate, so I've laid out what they actually do here. Your tagged skills should be explosives, melee weapons, and speech, and your traits should be built to destroy and skilled. This'll give you a bonus 3% critical hit chance with no downside, and a plus 5 to all skills with only a 10% dip in experience gain. Now loot everything you can in Doc Mitchell's house, and use his chemistry set to craft some chems. Chems are going to be very important in this run because quite often you'll need the bonus damage and defense they provide. You can use guns if you need to, like during this tutorial, but never use them in combat situations since this is a bare fist only run. Go to the bar and talk to a guy named Joe Cobb. Tell him you want to work with him, then meet up with him outside of town. Use your intelligence to convince him to take over the town, and then he'll send you after a guy named Ringo. So go up to the gas station where Ringo is hiding and take him down. Technically speaking, he hasn't really done anything wrong, but try not to think about it too much. He needs to die for this build to work, so in the end it's all for the greater good. Report your success back to Cobb, and then he'll send you to go rough up some of the townsfolk for supplies. However, contrary to his expectations, you will be roughing up him and his powder ganger buddies instead. As you can see, your fists are going to be pretty weak at this point, but fortunately, you have the power of strength-enhancing drugs on your side. Anyway, once Cobb bites the dust, you should go and talk to Chet the shopkeeper. With a speech skill of 25, you can convince him to donate supplies to the powder gangers. However, since the powder gangers are all dead, you can't report back to them, and thus, you can just keep convincing Chet over and over again. In addition to receiving a steady supply of bullets and leather armor, you'll also gain experience every time you pass the speech check, and begin to level up. As you level up, you'll want to raise melee weapons to 90 and explosives to 70. At levels 2 and 4, you should choose Intense Training and raise your strength to 7. At level 6, choose Bloody Mess for the 5% damage increase. Next, take Stonewall to become a tank in close quarters combat, and take Super Slam so you can knock your opponents off their feet. Unstoppable Force will quadruple your damage against enemies who try to block your punches, and Hit the Deck will make you highly resistant to being exploded. It'll take you a while to persuade your way up to level 14, but persevere, and eventually you will be transformed into a truly formidable bare-knuckle boxing machine. Use the leather armor Chet gave you to repair your own armor, and then sell him as much of it as he can afford to pay for. This is also a good time to stock up on stim packs and begin collecting alcohol, because once you've consumed 25 chems or bottles of booze, you'll receive a special reward. Now drop all the leather armor on the ground in a neat little pile, and then levitate it in front of yourself using your mysterious mind powers. This will allow you to run at full speed while carrying hundreds of pounds of valuable leather. Finally, before you leave Good Springs, stop by at the graveyard where Benny shot you, and pick up the snow globe there. Upon leaving Good Springs, you'll be given a chance to rebuild your character, say yes to it, and set your special attributes to be the same as you did before. Choose Repair, Speech, and Unarmed as your tagged skills, and choose Built to Destroy and Skilled as your traits. Taking Skilled this second time will give you a total of 10 points to each of your skills, while still only giving you a 10% experience penalty. Now you'll automatically level up to level 13, and you can raise your skills differently than you did the first time. Some skills will need to be raised to specific minimum levels in order to take certain perks, and other skills are just useful in general. As for perks, you get to keep every perk with a level requirement of 6 or more that you took while leveling with Chet, and now you'll be able to take new perks on top of them. So first off, take Confirmed Bachelor and Lady Killer for the 10% bonus damage to both sexes. Next, take Comprehension, as it'll double the usefulness of all skill magazines, and make it so that skill books give you 4 points instead of 3. Sneering Imperialist will give you 15% extra damage versus raiders and tribals. and Finesse will increase your critical hit chance by 5%. Finally, Piercing Strike makes your punches ignore 15 points of damage threshold on all enemies. Now with all of your CHET perks and normal perks combined, you will be tougher, stronger, and more likely to land critical strikes, and you'll basically be ready to take on the great wide world of the Mojave Desert. Now it's finally time to hit the road and travel to the New Vegas Medical Clinic to buy cybernetic implants. So head most of the way up Black Mountain, avoiding the mutants if you can, and head straight down the mountainside to the outer Vegas area. Keep an eye out for traveling merchants along the way. They tend to carry a lot of caps, and thus you can sell them a lot of leather armor and ammunition. Other wealthy vendors include the robot at the Gunrunner's kiosk, and a guy named Blake whom you can find at the Crimson Caravan Company. However, the size of Blake's pocketbook is pretty random and can range anywhere from moderately sized to just plain ridiculous, so it's a bit of a gamble. Now go to the Old Mormon Fort in Freeside, enter this building here on the right, and up on the second floor you'll find another snow globe. By now you'll have more than enough caps to get into New Vegas, so go ahead and meet up with Mr. House. Tell him you'll get the platinum chip back from Benny, and he'll give you full access to his casino. Take the elevator to the cocktail lounge, and you'll find 2 things that you need there: another snow globe, and a True Police Stories magazine, which you'll be saving for later on. If you want, you can go to the Presidential Suite and store your extra leather armor there. You'll want to keep a few of them with you for repairing your own armor in the future. Now sell the 3 snow globes you found to Jane the robot, and you'll receive a nice juicy chunk of change. Now you should finally have enough money to buy at least some of the implants you need from Dr. Usanagi. If you still don't have the 28,000 required caps, then my recommendation is to buy the luck implant first, then head straight to the casinos. With 9 luck, your odds of winning games of blackjack will be incredibly high. Play your cards right, and you should be rolling in the dough in no time. So just cash out and take your first steps in becoming an unstoppable nanomachine man. Now head over to the Horowitz farmstead northwest of Vegas. There you'll find some bandits hiding out in a barn, probably hoping to ambush some poor farmer coming home from the fields. However, instead of ambushing a poor farmer, they'll be meeting the Grim Reaper. Take the reinforced leather armor from their leader. It's tough, it can be repaired with regular leather armor, and it also just looks cool, so put that armor on. Now drink a total of 25 bottles of booze or chems, and you'll get the challenge perk Day Tripper. This'll give a 33% bonus in duration to all chems, alcohol, and even stealth boys. Now just wait a few days for the effects of the alcohol to wear off, and then talk to Dr. Usanagi and have her cure your substance addiction. For the last piece of apparel you'll be needing to complete your outfit, make your way from Good Springs over to Novak. You can complete side quests, by the way, if you want to level up faster. When you get to level 14, take Light Touch. This will give you an additional 5% critical hit chance when you're wearing light armor, or even when you're wearing no armor at all. By this point, you'll be landing critical hits left and right, and Super Slam will enable you to routinely put your foes on their backsides. Kick the snot out of the ants. Raid is pretty hard to come by in the post-apocalyptic world, so just squish them the old-fashioned way. Squish this guy as well, filthy powder ganger. Rule number 1 of winning the lottery: don't tell anyone you won the lottery. Don't talk to the Legion while you're in Nipton, just pass by them for now. And finally, you'll arrive at Novak. Head straight on up to the top of the dinosaur during the night, and you'll meet a socially reclusive man named Boone. In the past, his wife was sold as a slave to the Legion, and he wants you to find out who did it. So go to the hotel reception area, break into the floor safe, and you'll find a bill of sale concerning Boone's wife. Lead the guilty party out in front of the dinosaur, give Boone the signal, and suddenly the weather will go from part cloudy to bullets with a chance of giblets. Boone will then reward you with a special hat, the First Recon Beret. This will give you an additional 5% to your critical hit chance, and it looks pretty neat as well. Now that you've got all the gear you need, it's time to learn some new martial arts techniques that'll put you a cut above the rest of the bare-fisted brawlers of the Mojave. So before you leave Novak, talk to an NCR ranger named Andy. With 30 speech, you can convince him to teach you the technique called Ranger Takedown. Do a power attack while moving backwards, and you'll do a leg sweep that will knock your opponents off their feet. Now go to the Ultralux Casino in Vegas and talk to Heck Gunderson. It turns out his son has gone missing, and he'll want you to search the building for him. However, some of the staff won't be overly keen on your investigating their dirty work, and will try to cave your head in with the heavy end of their weighted canes. So just kick the snot out of them and relieve them of their high-class apparel. Now make your way to the 188 trading post and meet up with a woman named Veronica. It turns out she's something of a hand-to-hand specialist herself, so tell her she can follow you around and give her the fancy pants formal wear you've acquired. She'll then reward you with a special technique called Scribe Counter. What this does is enables you to do a rapid retaliatory strike after successfully blocking an incoming attack. After this, you can finish up Heck's quest if you want to. The Ultralux chef is pretty sick in the head since he wants to cannibalize Heck's son, so just hamburgerize his sorry carcass instead. Now if you rescue Ted but keep the whole attempted cannibalism thing a secret, then you'll get rewarded by Heck, and the Ultralux people will love you. Now make your way over to Red Rock Canyon. Kick the snot out of Metalhead, because he gets in your way. And meet up with Diane at the drug lab and offer your services. She'll send you to rescue another drug runner, so lend a fellow courier a helping hand. As for payment, tell Diane you'll take the drug recipe. She'll then teach you how to craft turbo, which is a very useful chem. Complete the rest of the jobs she gives you. Some of the more ungrateful chem junkies will try to incinerate you alive with high-powered military-grade energy weapons, but never fear, Med-X is here. But, honestly, it's the disrespect that hurts the most. You work your butt off delivering packages day in and day out, and what do you get? Some goat skull-wearing hippie trying to tell you how to do your job. Unbelievable. Anyway, with a science skill of 50, you can teach Jack how to make new kinds of chems. Take your pay in drugs, and also buy as many drugs as you can from him. Now that Jack and Diane really like you, they'll teach you a new unarmed move called Con Trick. Do a power attack while moving sideways, and you'll fling dirt into the faces of your foes, dealing damage and temporarily disorienting them. It's not exactly the most useful technique, but you gotta know all the moves if you want to be the best. And at this point, there's only one more left to learn. At level 16, you should take better criticals, cause it'll give you a 50% bonus to your critical hit damage. The time has finally come to deal with Benny. Tell Benny you want to have a private conversation. He thinks he can work out a deal with you, but there's just one thing he's neglected to take into account. Stealing mail is a federal offense, and stealing directly from a mailman is just plain rude. Also, he shot you in the head, but it's the theft that hurt the most on a personal level. Now that you've got your package back, the Legion will want to talk to you. However, before you go to the fort, revisit Nipton and talk to Wilpez and Colta. Tell him you like the way he works, and your reputation with the Legion will improve. Alternatively, you can go to this small building just west of the town hall, and inside you'll find some dead NCR troopers. Take their dog tags, and then go to Cottonwood Cove and give them to the commanding officer there. Lastly, before you travel to the fort, you should level up to level 18. The great thing about CHET is he's the kind of guy who will always be there for you, whether you're looking to buy some supplies or shaking him down on behalf of deceased criminals. Take the Robotics Expert perk for that sweet 25% damage bonus to robots, because you're really gonna need it really soon. Now you're finally ready to go to the fort and speak with Kaisar. Agree to help him out with his problems, and then talk to Lucius. Since you have a slightly positive reputation with the Legion and a high unarmed skill, he'll agree to teach you the last secret unarmed technique, Legion Assault. This will enable you to perform a leaping power attack while charging forward. Now go down into the bunker like Kaisar wants you to. Tell Mr. House you'll do what he wants as well. Because really, the key to success here is just to say yes to everyone until they give you what you want. Punch the robots that get in your way. Make them regret the day they stepped off the assembly line. And insert the platinum chip so you can finally leave the fort. Your next objective is to meet the only person Caesar fears, Joshua Graham. So go to the Northern Passage and sign up with the Happy Trails Caravan, which is just about to set out for Zion National Park. Unfortunately, a tribe called the Whitelegs won't much appreciate your presence there. But then again, everyone seems to hate couriers these days. It's not my fault you guys didn't cancel your Amazon Prime subscriptions after the free trial expired. Anyway, follows Chalk, and he'll take you to the man you've come to see.
Hoi, Auslander Zuka Joshua Graham?
Excuse me, this is America, could you speak English? Joshua Graham is a very resilient man, but given the present circumstances, he needs your help. So go collect the things he needs that are scattered throughout Zion. With the lack of park rangers in recent years, things have really gone to crap, and there's a lot of dangerous wild animals here. So pop some psycho and remind them why humans are still the dominant species. The Whitelegs can be a real pain in the rear end to tangle with since a lot of them put poison on their weapons, so be sure to keep some anti-venom on hand. Follows Jock is pretty handy with his hockey stick, so he should be able to back you up pretty well. Nevertheless, if you find yourself outmatched, then there's absolutely no shame in using a stealth boy to get yourself out of trouble. After all, the best warriors make use of all of the tools at their disposal. When you reach level 20, take Purifier for the 50% damage bonus versus abominations. Now, you won't run into too many creatures that classify as abominations in Zion, but you definitely will when you travel to other places later on. Once you're done collecting stuff, Joshua will want you to help him take down the leader of the Whitelegs and end the war once and for all. So join him in sending the Whitelegs back to the Salt Flats from whence they came. Joshua's a crack shot with his pistol, so try not to be jealous if he scores more points than you. Take Voracious Reader at level 22. This will allow you to craft your own magazines out of ruined books and wonder glue, and it's going to be very handy once you get back to civilization. Keep punching the Whitelegs, or just run past them since you're mainly after their leader anyways. Sorry, bonehead, you campaigned in the wrong neighborhood. Now, once the war is over, you'll be rewarded with a bunch of different items, including Joshua Graham's armor. Not only is it really tough, but it gives you a plus 3% critical hit chance. Since you don't have the jury rigging perk, the only way to repair it is with Powder Ganger guard armor. So stop by the NCR Correctional Facility and get yourself some. You should also go to a workbench and craft yourself some True Police Stories magazines. Thanks to the Comprehension perk, these magazines will give you a temporary 10% bonus to your critical hit chance. And now it's time to complete your transition into a fully fledged fist-fighting nanomachine man. So go check out the crashed satellite south of Nipton, and you will be transported to a distant science lab. When you come to, you'll discover that floating brains have replaced your brain, heart, and spine with mechanical replicas. As a result, you're tougher, your head and your torso can no longer be crippled, you're immune to poison, healing items heal you more, and you're less likely to get addicted to chems. Now the floating brains will send you out of the main building to get some things for them so they can defeat their arch-enemy Dr. Mobius. There are some pretty dangerous enemies on the outside, but you're a freaking cyborg now, so you can hack it. Night Stalkers count as abominations, so the Purifier perk will empower you to smite their unholy carcasses all the more effectively. And really, as long as you remember the basics of CQC, you should be able to handle just about anything. Pick up all the personality cores you can find. The Autodoc back at the main lab can heal you from chem addiction for no charge. Take Chemist at level 24, and Chems and Stealth Boys will last twice as long. This effect stacks with Day Tripper. Psycho and MedX should be enough to get you through most encounters. Also, don't forget to make and read copies of True Police Stories for that sweet bonus critical chance. If you go to the fake village, you can find lots of books you can convert into blank magazines, and you can also find lots of mugs that you can give to Muggy the robot so he can convert them into wonder glue. With those two things, you should have plenty of materials for making magazines of any type. At levels 26 and 28, you should take both ranks of Toughness so you can outlast any opponent in a prolonged encounter. Remember that stealth is also an option, since with the Robotics Expert perk, you can silently deactivate robots like the sneaky cyborg ninja you are. Once you've got all the things you need, the brains will send you to take on Dr. Mobius. However, he has a little surprise waiting for you in the form of a titanic mechanical scorpion. The trouble with attempting hand-to-hand combat versus a giant pair of hydraulic pincers will become obvious pretty quickly, but for every problem there is a solution.
It's turbo time!
Boom. But it turns out that Dr. Mobius is actually pretty chill, and the brains who recruited you were the bad guys all along. Dr. Mobius will show you where your brain is, so go have a word with it. Tell it you want to keep your cybernetic parts, and it'll head back to the main lab to help you take on the floating brains. Take some speech and science magazines to get those skills nice and high, and then confront the brains. Pretend to be Dr. Mobius inside a human body, and they'll agree to work for you from now on. So it's pretty much a happy ending for everyone, and every problem has finally been resolved. Except for one. It turns out there's another courier named Ulysses who was hired by Kaisar to arm the Whitelegs and send them after Joshua Graham and the people of Zion, and now he's invited you to meet him face to face. To get to him, you'll have to make a long and arduous journey through a garbage-ridden gutter called the Divide. Power up this flying robot so it can activate controls for you and such. Just make sure it knows its place. And kick the snot out of any other robots you see. Ulysses will try to communicate something to you by spouting vague philosophical diatribes. Basically, he just hates you for some reason, and that's really all you need to know. Continue fighting your way through the Divide. Doing a 180 as you attack can help you land Ranger takedown on the hamburger heads. Sorry, Metal Man. There's only one fist-fighting expert on this highway, and it ain't you. Anyway, when you reach level 30, take Implant GRX. This is a non-addictive turbo injector that you can use 5 times per day at rank 1, and it benefits from all the perks that affect regular chems. So beat the crap out of the Deathclaws. These guys are the bane of human existence everywhere they go, so send them back into the deep, dark abyss from whence they came. Now, sometimes even turbo won't be enough to help you defeat endless waves of enemies, so just run around them if you can. Once again, there's no shame in using stealth boys when the odds are against you to an unreasonable degree. Even your enemies recognize their amazing utility. And at level 32, take the second rank of Implant GRX, and you'll be able to use it 10 times a day and with increased duration. Eventually, your flying robot will get locked up in a container, so just leave it behind. The reward for doing so is a 10% bonus to all damage you put out, so clearly it's worth the compromise. And now it's time to deal with the other courier. Hey Ulysses, I've got a special delivery for you. It's called Implant GRX, and a single-use drug that gives plus 10 damage to unarmed strikes. Sorry man, you broke the mailman bro code by being a jerk to me, you helped the Whitelegs invade Zion, you wasted my time, and I really want your jacket. So beat the heck out of Ulysses and his floating trash cans, and peel his clothes off. Ulysses' duster isn't quite as tough as Joshua's armor, but it gives you a higher critical chance, and it can be repaired with leather armor. Finish off the rest of the enemies in the area, and then head over to the missile control panel. Nuke whoever you want, as long as it's the Legion. Now the rest of them will know what it feels like to be burned alive. The reward you get for doing this is a single point to one of your special attributes. So put it into luck to help you max out your critical hit chance. You can also take the ninja perk for a 1.15 times critical hit chance bonus. And there are some other mildly useful perks you can take as you continue to level up, but at this point you're pretty much the ultimate fist fighter anyways, and you probably don't want to watch me grind levels for 12 hours straight just to get a few extra perks. So in the end, you may not be the smartest person in the Mojave, or the deadliest, but you are the only person who can beat Deathclaws to death with your bare fists. And that's really all you need. Lastly, you're gonna want to beat the snot out of Caesar. He had Joshua Graham burned alive, he sent the Whitelegs to invade Zion, and now he's dead meat on the toilet seat.